Ladies and gentlemen, this is Them on the Moon. And today, I'm not really going to go through the update. I'm just going to do a brain dump because um, I feel like I want to. feel like I just want to do a brain dump and just kind of think out loud a bit. Actually, my performance that I was going to do yesterday got rained out. There was a big storm, so I didn't do it. So I just was sitting and writing when it got late. It was like a big storm, and I just was writing on my iPad. And I've been doing a lot of thinking about like this stuff I'm doing, the updates, the YouTube, the marketing, the how I get my music out there, being off social media, etc. Just like my overall orientation, like what am I doing and why? And the strategy. And I don't really know it's just a lot. It's so confusing, and I'm finding that with all the AI and technology and new tools and marketing and influencers and business influencers and gurus and all the shit, it's just becoming so overwhelming and confusing. And it's weird because it's like two things are simultaneously happening. One is what you're able to do is so unlocked, right? With these AI and these tools and all this stuff, it's like you can do anything. Like I've been seeing these AI tools for building apps and websites, and you can just type and get whatever you want, like video, photos, websites, code, whatever you want. And then it's like the question becomes like, what do you want and why? And it's weird because it's almost like the increased freedom makes you less free. It's like paralyzing for me. I know, and I see some people who I think just take full advantage of it, and they're so focused and dialed on their purpose and their goals that they just know exactly how to use everything and what to do, and they just rip it. But I'm not. I'm not finding myself in that predicament, and I think in another life I really would be, and I wonder why. It's just hard. It's making it harder for me. It seems like. Just mentally. Like I can obviously do so many things, but like I just have less and less clarity all the time. And so last night, since I didn't sing, I was just sitting there watching the storm and typing about how it was when I was younger, when I used to play the drums, and when I first got my first camera, and how like obsessed I was with it. And even though I was like trying to do stuff and making drum covers and trying to do a photo business and video and stuff like this, like I didn't really try to do any of it. It was just automatic, and I didn't worry about anything, and I just did it. I just did what I loved, and I got money and I got all these opportunities, and everything just went. And it was so pure, right? It was so like focused and pure. And then somewhere along the line, it's that kind of orientation stopped, and I was trying to think about when and why and how, and like how to what was the nature of being that way. And in some ways I think maybe I just grew up, you get more responsibilities, you're less green. I think there's something about having your entire life in front of you and the whole world in front of you, and you just go. And now that I have so much of my life behind me, it changes things. And part of me thinks it was like Instagram and the rise of social media and starting to do things for other people more rather than because I wanted to do it or I was interested in it. Um, it's almost like there's like a difference, because I still did drum covers and I still wanted to share my stuff, and I was putting my photos everywhere and I wanted to share everything. But there's like a difference between doing something for the love of it and being so passionate that you just want to share it. I just want to share this so much because I'm so passionate. And then it got like the waters got muddied, and it was like it changed to, yeah, I still love this, I'm still passionate, but I like have to share it, and I'm like more concerned with the sharing of it and how people are going to think of it, and like how many people are looking at it, and like all these things that got like fucked up, kind of. And maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say. And I think too, like I said, just having more responsibilities, having more to worry about. But it just seems like things went from like doing things to trying to do things. And everything just got like less pure and less like focused, you know? And so I don't really know what to do with that, but it's been basically causing me to like really rethink stuff. I'm like, what is my orientation? Why am I doing stuff? How am I thinking about what I'm doing? And with the updates that I was doing on Substack and here, to a certain degree, I want to share what I'm doing. I'm doing all this cool stuff and I'm constantly publishing stuff and doing things and I want to share it. It's not like that's not an element, but to a certain degree, it was like based in fear because I'm like, well, I'm not on social media, so if I'm gonna go swim with the dolphins, like people gotta know, like I gotta share it. Like I want people to see what I'm doing and see all the cool stuff and like have a record of it and like be witnessed, right? And I think a lot of it was like a fear of just fading into obscurity and not all the stuff I was doing and working on just not being seen. And I just think doing things based on fear and is like, if the fear is like the main motivator, it just seems like I don't know how to explain it. It's just a feeling. I'm feeling like this isn't necessarily the right thing. Um, and I don't know how to get to a place where I'm just doing what I'm passionate about and what I love and letting everything flow from that. It's hard. Um, and to a certain degree, I wonder if I'm still doing, because like my life is amazing and the shit I do is fire and cool and amazing and everything's dope. It's not necessarily less dope than it was when I was younger. And maybe I'm just self-aware, more self-aware. So I'm like aware of the process of what I'm doing and like thinking about the process, like meta. And when I was younger, I wasn't. I was just doing what I'm doing now, same kind of actions and orientation, but I just have this like more intellectual like scrutiny of my actions and my goals and if it's successful or not or how successful or not. Stakes are higher, feel higher, so it's like more analysis. And the thing about applying that analysis to what you do is it cheapens it in a lot of ways, or it feels cheaper, or kind of doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't, just doesn't hit the same way. I don't know. Maybe it does. It's hard to tell. And I feel like that's my problem is I'm like, what is going on? Like, what is the situation? It's just confusing. And, I feel like partially that's just because there's so much stuff flying around in my head in my life that it just obfuscates things, the path. And so, because like this travel thing to a certain degree was to simplify things. And I think it did in a lot of ways, but it's almost like you simplify one thing and then there's this open space and then that just gets filled with another thing that's then complex. So it's almost like, my psyche has a certain amount of space and it'll just get filled with whatever. If I, simplify one thing, something else comes in. I don't think it's fully like that, but I wonder if it's like I conceptualize my psyche as maybe like a pie chart. How many different slivers of things are there, right? And so that might be kind of what's going on, where when I was like drumming, when I was first playing the drums and when I got my first camera and I was just fully just dialed, like I was just not thinking about what I was doing. I was just doing it. It's like my whole pie chart was just like take cool pictures and videos and share it. And that's what it was. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I wasn't thinking that much about, like I was thinking about logistics and like, how can I get a new camera and like, what can I do? But everything was just pointed at that main focus, right? And I feel like that worked pretty well. That was a pretty good place to be in. And then, the question just becomes like, okay, what is that main focus? What is that pie chart full of? And that's a hard question to answer. I think it was easier when I was younger because I wasn't like, I'm going to fill my pie chart with drums. I just played my first drum beat and was like, didn't even think twice. Just, looked up freaking 10 years later and was like, that was it, like, so it's like the process of intellectualizing it almost makes it so it doesn't it's like it has to be a natural process, almost an intuitive process. Um, it's just like being connected to that passion and that drive without thinking about it, just like natural. And how to cultivate that, I don't know. But I feel like I'm veering from it more and more with the updates and the way I've been doing that. I just don't think I want to keep doing it. I might keep doing it. I might just like see it through for the whole year and then reevaluate. But another part of me just thinks if it doesn't feel right now, just swerve. Like you don't have to keep doing it just because you started doing it necessarily. And to some degree, I wanted it to look back on through my travels, like look at what I was doing and look at the photo dumps and look at my life, like through. It's almost like an archive, which is cool. Um, and I don't know. And to a certain degree, I want to stop doing it because it's like since I started doing it, my like I've gained some subscribers, but it's like the open rates, the viewership, the engagement, everything's kind of dwindled and went down. It's like my views of my posts were going up, 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 up. I started doing the updates and they kept going up, and then they started trailing off, I think. And kind of like a signal that I'm off. And the blog initially started as me being like, okay, I'm at point A, I'm trying to get to point B. I'm going to write about my journey trying to get to point B and the problems I have to solve, how I'm thinking about them, what I'm going to do, etc. And it just stopped being that along the way. And maybe I need to get back to that. And maybe I don't need to publish every week, but I'll publish when I feel it and when I write something interesting and useful and cool and that I want to share. It's almost like, okay, I got to share something, so I'm going to write something, right, to share. But it needs to be, I need to write something. And I feel a way about it, what I wrote, so I need to share it because I love it or it's interesting or like, that's the right orientation. And it just gets flipped. It just gets freaking muddied with these algorithms, all the shit online. And it's just hard, man. It's hard to like stay dialed. And it's so funny because I'm at this point in my life where I'm like reading through the Bible, and right now I'm in the Old Testament. And the thing that seems the most reoccurring theme, the thing that sticks out to me the most, is this picture of the human condition painted through the constant ebb and flow of the Israelites in relation to God and Alf, right? It's like you get into Kings and Chronicles, and honestly, all through frickin' Genesis and Exodus, it's like God's like, follow me and do what I say, and everyone's like, okay, and then everything's good, and then they like forget and they worship other gods, and then everything gets screwed, and they go back and forth. And in Chronicles, it's the same thing. It's like this king did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, and they prospered, and then this king followed false idols, and then everything fell apart, and they got defeated by their enemies and sent to Babylon, conquered. And it's just back and forth, bam, 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 back and forth. And like, that's what my psyche feels like. It's like a reflection of the human condition and psyche, where it's like you have a goal or an ideal. And I think that the pure passion and the pure drive and that purity of like endeavor is correlated with God and the universe and like the pursuit of the highest ideal in a relationship with God. It's like that passion and that like drive, for lack of a better term. I don't know if that's the best way to conceptualize it, but it's like that natural tendency. That is like following God or whatever, or being in line with God. And then getting distracted by all this other bullshit is the other gods, right? And following the other gods. And it's a constant ebb and flow. Constantly, I'm like, oh, I'm veering off again. Okay, come back. And it's like, oh, I'm veering off again. Okay, go back. And it's like, I'm like, get back to like, oh yeah, I love making music and just being lost in music. And I'm like, didn't do that for a week or like 2 weeks or whatever, And I forgot like creating visuals for like the pure passion of it and like to make something cool that's in my head rather than, oh, I got to make a canvas for the song, or I got to do an ad or a visual for this song, so I'm going to do it. And I'm like, fuck, it's like, I don't know. That's what it seems like. And it's like there's an art to being dialed, right? And I think that's what you see when you look at these like Old Testament prophets and guys that were dialed, King David and Solomon and them. So, trying to figure out how to do that. Um, Not that easy, kind of confusing. And yeah, I'll do meditations sometimes and I'll like, get a couple breaths in and be like, oh, wow, to just be in the moment. Just, you know, don't need to worry about all this shit. Just be in the moment. And I'll sit there on the bed sometimes and do the meditations and I look this way. And it's this just massive windows, these giant curtains here. And it's just this giant room. It's beautiful. The sun's shining. And I'm just like, I'm here. I'm where I want to be. This is great. And, and then immediately I'm like, oh, what about that thing? Maybe I shouldn't do that. No, I got to do this. And blah, blah, blah. Got to figure this out and da da da. And just get swept away again all the time. But I just want to be more centered. Just feel like, how do I be more centered and focused and dialed? And I feel like that's the way. And I almost feel like maybe it's a psychological orientation that I have to cultivate and that I can bring anywhere. So I could be on social media. I could be looking at YouTube. I don't have to have all these rules about what I do and don't do in media if I can cultivate this like foundational mindset and orientation towards everything. Maybe it's that way. But I almost think more so it's like I have to let go of all that shit. I have to get off at YouTube, stay off of Instagram, stop looking at all this other bullshit, stop polluting my mind with a million ideas and strategies and things and other people's content and other people's ideas and other people's things, and just get back to doing my thing, and more of it. And I need more rules and structure. And I think, to go back to the Bible, if you look at the Old Testament, it's like you look at the laws and it's like, there's freaking laws, dog. It's like God's like, if you're going to follow me, you got to do this and that and this and that and this and that. And don't do this and do that and do this. And there's like all these parameters of like how you need to act to be in line with God. So I don't think a free for all is the way, but it's almost like through the discipline and the laws is the freedom. And it's like, and that's an old it's like that's a cliche concept, but I think it's pretty accurate, because it's like I can go on YouTube to do a tutorial if I'm trying to figure out this cool piece of art I'm making and I'm get stuck and I'm like, oh, I don't know how to make this. Go on YouTube, do a tutorial, right? Or if I'm like I have a problem I'm trying to solve for this thing I'm chasing, this endeavor, and I'm like, okay, what are the newest AI tools so I can figure out this problem and think about this or deal with this issue, right? And so it's like my pathway into YouTube and Instagram and all these AI things, it's not like I have to cut it off, but it has to start from the source and then go into it that way rather than just freaking floating around YouTube and watching a trillion videos and learning cool shit randomly, So confusing, dog. It's so hard. I don't know. Feels good to do just a brain dump on here rather than whatever. I didn't really have shit on my update anyways. I had like 2 photos in the photo dump. I had like, some cool stuff to share, but I think I'm gonna not do it anymore. Because too, I have this new marketing thing I'm doing that's like kind of email based thing. So I'm almost thinking just when I make shit that I love and that I really want to share, I'm just gonna send it in an email through that marketing thing. And it's more like a personal email. So Substack's like, it's like branded and like, it's like a blog. It's like this, you get it like an article almost, but it's like this email marketing thing I'm doing. It just looks like I emailed you, like your homie, like, yo, what's up? It's like personalized. It has your name. What's up? I made this new music video. Check it out. Da, da, da. Here's like a behind the scenes. It's really cool. Let me know what you think, shit like that. Like if I would email a homie, and so I think I maybe just use that when I really want to share something cool or make something interesting or meaningful, and then leave the Substack just for my freaking musings and like this thing about how am I trying to figure out my journey, and publish stuff on there like that. And I also had the idea randomly of doing, instead of Wonderneath Weekly, doing Wonderneath Window, and doing just like these like stream of consciousness things like this, journal entries type things. When I feel like, just like when I have to, like when I'm just exploding, and then doing that as a paywall. So it's like you can pay for that shit if you want, and it's shit I would do because it's literally what I would write or do anyways if no one saw it, right? So it's not like, it's like if people want a paywall and see it, good for them, or like it's just a benefit. Um, Feels like a good idea, but I don't know. Really, everything's so confusing to me. Life is crazy, but it's so good. It's so freaking good too. It's weird. I don't know. I don't know, dog. I do think there's some letting go that needs to happen, honestly. Just, yeah, just freaking. I just want to be in that flow state. I just want to be in that vibe. In the, um, it's interesting. I'm practicing so much for that performance and singing, and there's this weird thing where I really do the best when I'm not thinking about it. Right? It's like there's these hard parts that I have to sing, and I gotta like, okay, take a breath and like reach for the note, da, 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 or whatever, and it's like that can work sometimes. It's not like it never helps. But it's like when I'm just vibing, I feel like that's when it's the best performance. And I'm just in it. I'm not thinking about it. I'm just vibing and singing and vibing. And it's just how to cultivate that mode, right? In like everything I do. It's like such a blessing and a curse to be so cerebral and think about everything so much. I think there is a thing where if I put myself in circumstances, certain circumstances just require you to rip it and be in that mode. It's kind of like I'll never forget when I was camping with my homie. We would hike up this dry riverbed to like this waterfall, and it was like, this dry riverbed, so there's all these giant rocks and stones, and it's like really steep and winding, and like there's these big rocks and little rocks and like logs that went across, and it was like an obstacle course, right? And we would run down it, and we jump from rock to rock and jump over this one, and you like get in this intense flow state where you're not even thinking. You're just going boom, 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 boom. Because if you're not paying attention, you'll freaking crash and break your face. So it's like this really cool, this amazing flow state of like, it's kind of like trail running, type of thing. But it was addicting. We loved it. We would just climb up that and jump and freaking boom, boom, boom and run down, jump over the log and dun, dun, dun. And you're in this flow state and it's amazing. But it's like you have to start running down the freaking rocks to get into that, right? And so it's like you have to put yourself in that position and then you get locked in. And so I think too, how can I put myself in more positions where that happens? Even with thinking, like when I'll sit down to write, sometimes I just go vroom, and just get in that same mode. Um, it's cool. It's good. I want more of it. Well, anyways, I think that's about it. I'm gonna do a cleaning now. I'm gonna just put on some music, vibe out, and just clean and sweep and frickin' do my laundry and stuff. And that's that. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you watched, thanks for being here. I do appreciate the people that are here. It's like, and the people that engage. It's nice because I'm frickin' full alone. I'm just full loner guy. So having some people around is cool, and that care about me is nice. So thank you for that. And if you're new here, you can click the link in the description and get my maybe not my updates anymore, but you can get my blog, and I'll have your email, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing somewhere or the other, and hopefully it's beneficial and meaningful to you. That's the goal. So, anyways, we're going to get it. We'll maybe see you next week. Maybe we won't. I don't know. Anyways, that's it. Peace out.